what am I doing now? And I started thinking to myself, I'm like, what am I doing right now? I've been so concentrating so much on helping people get to where I'm at, I kind of forgot to figure out where I'm going. Hey there, NAC Warriors. How you doing today? It is Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday. Super excited for every day that I get to wake up and spend some time with you. So I've been doing some thinking, and that's why it kind of took me a little bit longer to jump on when I really like to get here at 12 p.m. Eastern. I've been thinking a lot about where I am on my path to health and fitness compared to where maybe other people are. And how do I help us sort of get through this journey? Not even get through it, like, how do we go on this journey, enjoying it and growing from it, and doing it in a way that I kind of share with you what I'm going through? And I've realized that in this whole time that I've been doing this, I haven't been really sharing my now, sort of like what I've been researching and everything, but I haven't really shared with you, like, what am I doing now? And I started thinking to myself, I'm like, what am I doing right now? I've been so concentrating so much on helping people get to where I'm at, I kind of forgot to figure out where I'm going. And when I started thinking about like the whole piece of like the whole journey, if I were to take a step back and look at somebody's life and look at the journey that we all need to sort of go through, is you're in some part where you either need to wake up from your dream state, meaning that you know you're fat, but you're kind of ignoring it, to, okay, I realize I'm fat or overweight, or I need to do something with my health and fitness. And now you go and do something, but the problem is that you either don't stay consistent or you're not comfortable with yourself. And that's sort of like what I figured out, that part of the journey. The first two, like, wake you up and kind of and feel comfortable in your body and be maybe not quote unquote like super healthy, super fit, but I am in a state where I've controlled this enough to feel good about my body, to feel confident when I make decisions, to feel confident, in control, and have the energy that I need for my life. So that's where I'm at right now. Like, I'm not out of control. I don't feel like, I'm overweight. I don't feel that I'm unhealthy, but I realize that I still am not healthy. And I said to myself, what does that even mean? And I started questioning myself, like, what does healthy mean? And then I started thinking, well, this is your NAC Warrior, right? But the problem is I've been like putting my NAC Warrior sort of like on hold. Like, I haven't been really improving my NAC Warrior. I've just been having fun, like just learning and doing things here and there, but I haven't really looked at like, how do I really take my NAC Warrior, like where I am today, and create like a higher level one? Or do I even want to create a higher level one? Because I started thinking, going back to the path, like, there's only 3 other paths once you get to where I'm at, right? Which is either you go to the point of where you want to do health and fitness for the competitive side of things, you want to do it for the functional side of things, or you want it to do it for both. At some point in there, you definitely have to get functional because you need your body to be able to sustain what you're going to do in life. So I started thinking, okay, well, what does that mean? And even if I got there, like, how do I get there from here to there? I've got so much things going on and everything. And then it hit me. I was like, this, where I'm at right now, is no different than when I was in 2015. I'm just in a better state, a better situation than I was before. Mentally, spiritually, I'm in a better spot with myself, that, I don't have to deal with that part of it. But now that I know this, and I know all the answers are right here, And here's the thing, like I realized looking back, like to get to where I was, the thing I had to fix was right here, right between my ears. And that's hard to understand, right? Because and the best way I can explain it to you is like if people were to actually see what I do for exercise and what I do for food, they would look at me and be like, Angelo, how are you even healthy? Because I look healthy, but how do like they would say, well, you have special genes. And I would say, well, not if you looked at me back in 2015, you would have not said the same thing. So what was the difference? I mean, of course, I was, uh, let's say, actually, I started thinking about it like, what's different from what I'm doing then from what I'm doing now? And for me, it's actually not that much of a difference. The biggest difference, like what I physically do, what the difference is what I did inside here. So all this weight that I lost from 2015, yeah, okay, I definitely have done some things. I changed up the way I do my habits and things like that. So I'm more in control of that. So I can sort of like adapt to what's going on and be confident in myself. So that's made me stay the way I am. And even to the point where I could let myself gain 20 pounds and was it 20? Yeah, 20 pounds. And confidently, well, actually, I was a little scared to be honest, but confidently at the same time move down to back to my weight that I was before. And now I'm even more confident because I did that. And that's when I started sharing this journey that I've been going on, like trying to share this information. But I said to myself, like, how do I get to that next step? And what is that next step? And how do I share that journey with you? And what does that even look like? What new things do I have to learn? And I said, okay, let me share that with you. And that's where I'm at now. And I'm going to share the 30 days, like I said. So as I go along, I'm going to share that with you. Like, what if I had to start over where I was back in 2015, how would I get to where I am now in 30 days? I'll share that journey with you, but I want to take you on this journey of how to apply exactly what I did then and how I'm going to apply it in my life now to take me to that next level. And I would say my life is even busier now than I was back then in 2015. So to set it up, and I think I mentioned this before on the 30 days, is that, I have a family, I have a job, I'm trying to create a business, I'm trying to stay healthy and fit, I'm trying to educate myself, and a lot of these things all want my attention. Like they need my attention. And in order to be good at them, I have to give them my attention. So I guess you could say I'm going on another journey, but I'm going to apply the same principles and tips and tactics that I've used back in 2015 to today and apply them to this next stage of my life and really share with you what I'm going to learn. And I'm excited about it because now I get to actually say out loud, I'm going on a new journey. I'm going on a new mission to figure this thing out because before I know it, I think like 44, 45 right now. Before I know it, I'm going to be in my 60s, 70s, and I know the game changes then. At least based on what I hear. Again, I have to go back to ignore everything I know because that was the first thing I did for myself that helped me a lot was I don't want to be ignorant and say nothing's going to happen at 60, 70, 80 years old, but at the same time, I have to kind of let go of what people say and try to figure out this journey sort of on my own, right? What works for me. I have to become a student of myself. And the coolest thing that I have right now, my biggest advantage is this thing between my ears, my brain, and really understanding how I work. And so now the next step is to really figure out what does it mean to be healthy and fit, right? Like, does it mean that I have to run half marathon. I have to be able to run a half marathon. I need to be able to touch my toes. I need to be able to stand up on one foot. What does that actually mean? What does that look like? And more from a functional perspective, like I know if I get the functional right, the rest of it, like the competitive side of things will come. But I'm trying to think of like what is it that makes somebody healthy, like really healthy? We say like, yeah, you have to be, and this is interesting because I'm doing that survey and it's coming along, and it's interesting the feedback that I'm getting from this survey. But because one of the questions I have there is, what does a healthy body look like? What does healthy mean? And so I'm getting this information from all the people who are filling out the survey, and I'm like, okay, how do we deal with all this stuff that that people have? Like, what do other people think what healthy and fit looks like or is? But then we have to define it for ourselves. And I'm like, is it that I'm 104 and I can still do groceries, like lift up groceries? I'm thinking about the things that I have to do on a day-to-day basis. I'm like, I need to be able to do that. I need to be able to fall down and not feel like my bones are going to shatter when I'm 80 years old or 90 years old. And I think that's what I need to do, right? I need to picture myself at 100 years old and visualize what I want to look like and want to be able to do versus, and this is the future NAC Warrior, versus what I don't want it to be, right? I hear about old individuals falling down and breaking hips and things like that. And so how do we prevent that from happening? What does that mean? What do I have to do today to prevent that? And do I have to go out there and run a half marathon? As a 104-year-old, do I want to be running a marathon? And I'm thinking to myself, that'd be cool, right, to be on the newspaper, but is that realistic? Is that functional? And so as I go into the second part of my journey, I'm starting to go through probably where some of you may be, because this is what I'm realizing. What I've done in my past can be used no matter where you are in the journey. What I'm going to discover and what I'm going to share with you is what I did in the past to get to where I am now. But what I'm going to also share is, are there things that are going to come up that is no different than, or is different than what I'm doing today? And what I find interesting to me is that I'm still looking forward and saying, what does healthy and fit look like, right? So back in 2015, what worked for me first was to go forward and look at who did I want to be, right? Who I looked in the mirror and I woke up and said, that's not who I wanted to be. Then I looked at and said, who do I want to be? But what's interesting is that in order to do that, you have to kind of build, like if I were to start over, I would not start with the future self. I would start, I guess that would be the biggest difference between me now going on this journey than me before. Before, I needed to start with the first part of the NAC Warrior roadmaps, which is your mental state. If you can get that, the rest of it will come through. I'm pretty strong there now, so I'm looking at the future and saying, okay, now I got to build, like I have to solve the problem going backwards. I have to go from my future NAC Warrior to going to my mental state that I have to, because at the end of the day, I need to know what I need to be doing up here in order to get that result, right? What do I get to, and here's the other thing, like, and this is why the whole NAC Warrior roadmap is important to me, because just because I know what I need to do doesn't mean I'm able to do it, right? And that's where the second part of the NAC Warrior roadmap comes in, when you understand the seasons. Like when I'm 60, 70, 80 years old, I hope by that time, at some point I figure I'll be retired, or at least be able to maybe not be retired, because I think I'll always be working. I enjoy doing things, but I'll have more time to put towards different things. And so, what do I need to be doing mentally to get to my future self? But what in that journey, that overcasting journey, do I get to do today versus then? Because I may not be able to do everything that I can do today. So, and then what makes sense in my current lifestyle? And then I can go into where am I at today? What do I need to change with my habits? Am I in touch with my why? And will I get there? And so this is what I'm going to share with you. So tomorrow, I hope to have for you my future 104-year-old Angelo. That's the first step. So if you want to come with me on this journey of where I'm going to build that, but that's like the future, like way, way future. I figured at this point in my life, I'm done with competition. Now, that doesn't mean later on I won't change my mind and I won't go out there and start competing. But the first thing I want to look at is where is Angelo at 104 and start there. What do I want my 104-year-old self to be able to do? Now, if you're a competitor, you are looking at a shorter time frame. If you're looking for functionality, you need to be looking at that longer term, right? You need to look at what is there. If you're starting your journey and you are overweight, or you're not comfortable with your body, you're not there like I was, then hopefully what works for me will work for you. And I'm only going to share with you what worked for me. So I hope what I do share can help you, at least, if not everywhere, at least some parts. And hopefully the principles that you'll get from me, you'll be able to extract and be able to apply to your own life, right? Because I am a firm believer that your personal plan is not my personal plan. Like, you have your own personal health and fitness plan. We just got to figure out what that is. And I'm going to show you through mine, through this journey. I'm going to go through this whole part and just say, okay, let's design Angelo at 104 years old. What do I want him to be able to do? And hopefully you can apply what I'm doing to myself to your situation and just apply it in a different part of your journey, right? So I will share with you the things that make what I think is different from me now to what I am going to be, because where I started in 2015 to where I am now is totally different. And so I get to start the journey a little bit different. If you personally do not feel comfortable in your own body, you don't feel you are feeling overweight, you are, can't look in the mirror at yourself, or you need to wake up, you don't feel confident, you don't feel energetic, you don't feel in control of your health and fitness, you're starting at a different point than I am. I've gone through that journey. And so I have those things. I have the energy, I have the control, I have the confidence. I feel good about myself in my own skin. Now I need to focus on the rest of my journey. And I'm going to share with you my journey to the new 104 Angelo, and how it's different from trying to get you to that point where I'm at today. And just sharing, again, I don't know if this stuff is going to work for you. I really don't. I'm just going to share, like, we all, in my opinion, should be looking at who do we want to be in the future. So I'm looking at 104 Angelo. Are you looking at confident, energetic, and in control, insert your name? Or are you same where you are you with me and saying, okay, yeah, I feel confident, energetic, in control of my health and fitness, but where am I from a competitive perspective? Or where am I like Angelo? Am I at 100? Am I looking at 104? And Because here's the thing, I want to feel like this at 104. If I'm being honest with myself, I want to have my posture. I don't want to feel like if I fall down I'm going to break a bone or something like that. I want to feel um this how I feel today. So, but a little bit more detail. Well, I have to go in a little bit more detail. So, your action item, if you would like to kind of follow along on the journey, depending on where you are, if you need to be woken up and you're not woken up yet, direct message me and I will try to use the same tactics that worked for me to help wake you up. If you are awake, then go on that journey of getting that control energy and confidence in yourself that you feel good in your body. And I call that awakening your inner warrior. And now we're going to take the warrior on the journey, right? That's where I'm at now. I'm taking the warrior on the lifelong journey of 104 years old. And so I really need to look at who is that, and break it down into different levels. Maybe like I said before, we got to make it so that it's sort of like reachable, like that next step. So I may have to break that down. Although here's what I'm thinking now. And again, this is my journey, so I don't have this all figured out. I think it's almost in reverse. Now that I think about it, I think it's a little bit different. Because for you, I say you, I don't know where you are on who you are, where you are on your journey. Me in 2015, I needed to be a better myself. I needed to be a better person from a health and fitness perspective. Now, if I feel like this and if I'm like this at 104, man, will I be excited, right? So is it that I just need to increase? I do have a couple of things I need to work on, like my cardio, probably my stretching, my balancing. I think that, and maybe practicing falling so that I'm always doing that stuff. But I think now it's more it's more like maintain. Like if I could feel like how I feel today in 2000, and when I'm 104, I think that would be a great accomplishment, right? So whereas before I was trying to become thinner, I was trying to become healthier, and work on my brain and my connection to myself. Now the tables have turned. I'm trying to maintain this. And I think that kind of bothers me a little bit, to be honest, because I'm always like, I need to be better. I need to be better. But how much better do I need to be? And will I lose sight of where I want to be in 104? And let's say that I'm supposed to be doing this, but I'm so caught up in this other thing that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Alexa, stop timer, please. There you go. So that was my timer to try to stay on time today. So I'm going to continue this conversation, but the one thing I'm going to focus on today, if you want to come along on this journey, is let's think about who we want to be in the future, and you get to decide what time frame that is. Like for me, I'm going to go 104, and if I was you, I would choose that the next step in your life. And just real quick, again, it's either wake up, be confident, energetic, and in control of your health and fitness, like you enjoy being in your body and you feel in control of yourself when it comes to health and fitness. Then if you're there, then your next sort of decision is, are you going for competition? Are you going for function, or a little bit of both? And then we need to think about, if you're already there, if you're confident right where you are there, then you got to think about, okay, where are we going to be when we're at our later stages of life, right? And I think I actually have one stage in between 104 and where I am today. But that is going to come when I look at 104, right? I really believe that's what's going to happen. So although technically, if you're at the awaken from your dream and awaken from your or get confident, like you need to work on your mentality. And I still have to, like, that's the thing, is I still have to work on my mental game. But it's a lot more prevalent. No, it's the same. It's the same. You have to work on your mentality. So we'll get there. We'll get there, okay? And that's what I'm going to share with you, at least, again, what I'm doing. So step one, let's look at your future self, your future NAC warrior. What does that look like? Let's go do that. And tomorrow I'll report what that looks like for me. And then I will talk about the next step, okay? All right. So with that, have a good day. And I look forward to going on this journey with you. And I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.